There we go. Okay. That's much better. All right, coming up next, we have a run of GRIS by Bernie. This is going to be any percent, no out of bounds.
All right, so sorry for the delay there. This is GRIS, and at the moment, just going to get set back up. Unfortunately, my controller doesn't work, so I'm borrowing a controller here, so give me a minute to actually... If I start making really dumb mistakes in the game, it's because I'm not used to the button layout. However,
that is fair.
So start on the game is when I hit new game. So 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, go. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
We'll take it off in post, don't worry.
So we have about 3 minutes or so until the game actually picks up. What we got going on now is kind of the introduction to the game, the opening sequence, and unskippable cutscenes, which there are quite a few of those in the game. If anyone out there likes to try to break games and wants to figure out how to skip some of these cutscenes, our community will greatly appreciate it. But I'm Bernie. I like to run video games, and this is one of the only speedruns I do because this is one of the only speedruns I can actually keep doing. I get bored with games easy. This game is visually beautiful, the soundtrack is fantastic, and overall, just the feel of the game and the kind of like the meaning and imagery in the game itself keeps me interested in it. So hopefully y'all like it as much as I do. And I'll kind of walk through what we're doing as I'm playing. Right now you can see everything's just falling apart for GRIS there. I'm pretty sure that's what her name is. There's not really any confirmation, but I'm just going to call her GRIS, and we're going to go with it. So mainly the game is kind of a metaphor for depression and trying to work your way out of it. So the start of the game here is kind of everything just falls apart, everything's breaking, and you're left with nothing. You'll see through the game as we progress, we're going to get new skills, we're going to get new talents, and the game's going to become more colorful as we go. We actually have to unlock the colors as we go through the game. So as soon as I land here, I'll have to start walking. That's all we're able to do in the beginning. So for the next 90 seconds, I'll hold right. And that'll be the riveting beginning to this game. All right. And real difficult strats here. There we go. And I hold right. So, hopefully everyone's evening's going all right. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. We're raising a good amount of money for the charity tonight. See, we're up to $3,300 already, which unfortunately I don't have any incentives for this, or at least any official incentives. But hopefully I can earn some money for the stream here and make it worthwhile. So you can see the game, they're actually things are starting to come out of the fog, you're coming into view, and here's where we get our first ability, the ability to actually run and jump. The movement in the game is, new button layout. So the fastest movement in the game is jumping. And you can kind of see at the bottom of the screen where I'm landing, there are different types of lands. When you see that single plume of smoke come up from the landing spot when I jump, you're hitting at the ideal jump. Means you're saving the most time on it.
So not the full cloud, but the single little...
Yep, the little puff. So I think it's only a couple of frames you have to actually hit that, which makes the game kind of a continual frame-perfect trick. Now, there's some debate on whether the movement is fastest by doing these big jumps or by doing a series of really fast spamming jumps. And apparently that's the fastest way to do it. However, the only thing that is capable of doing that is Taz, because the speed that you'll need to spam is ridiculous. So the point of the game is we are going to find these stars hidden throughout the world, and we're just going to kind of platform to them and find them to give us the ability to do certain things. They'll fill constellations in the sky, and they'll allow us to build certain bridges to access new areas. But right now, we're just worried about keeping the movement clean and trying not to make any big mistakes. So here's our second one, and I don't think it's possible, but I always try to get up those steps. There's an invisible wall which starts this cutscene. So it requires 3 dots there. We only have the 2 right now, so we need to get that third one up on top of the building. So, a quick climb up these steps. Yep, missed the steps there. And that was a decent climb. Stairs are one of the most difficult obstacles in this game because your jump is actually different. So since we had 2 stars, we're able to create this star bridge and get our next one, which is going to allow us to come back over here and cross over this bridge.
It seems like stairs and slopes in general in many games either contribute to or detract from the speed tech.
Oh, yeah. When you get slopes that you climb and you do it cleanly, it's so fast. It's so nice to do it, but when you mess it up, it's so sloppy, and you feel kind of dejected that you screwed it up. All right, so we reached this statue's hand here that crumbled in the beginning, and we released the first color back into the world. We've just completed red, obviously, so the world get its red color back. And continue my hop in here. And also the music gets more and more intense. So this is one of the most significant stair climbs. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it was okay. It can be a pain to do. It also saves quite a few seconds if you do it well. Okay, so this is the main hub of the world, and we're going to come back here constantly to drop off our stars. You can see they're kind of floating up to the sky right now, and they're going to start filling up a bridge. The point of the game is to fill up the entirety of the bridge so that we can walk away. We can kind of escape from this area. So now that we drop that first one off, we have access to the first world that we're going to visit. So this first world is, I kind of like to call it like a carousel world. A lot of people just call it the desert. But this first like 15 minutes of the game, we're going to see a whole lot of cutscenes. For whatever reason, they put the title screen after the gameplay. So we're going to go on this little slide down. I'm going to try to make a couple of jumps that I feel saves maybe about half a second, but are overall not very important to the run at all. So at the bottom of the slope, I'm going to try to kind of trim off the jump a little bit. Yeah, that was alright. And nope. Just kind of skim over that one, but I did a little hop. And long land. There we go. And back to jumping. we're also going to encounter a new dynamic to the game that's only in this world. The dynamic that we're going to see in this world is called Sandstorms. So you can kind of guess what they're going to be. They're going to be big, sandy, blowing wind that will blow us over if we don't find safety. Yeah, cutscenes. Because if you forgot what game we're running, here's a reminder. We're running GRIS.
And really struggling not to break into Darude's Sandstorm right now, just on saying it, but I don't want to because it's kind of a serious game. I don't want to make too many goofs and gaffes here.
Just have fun with it. It's a serious game, but I also feel it's just a beautiful game. It just makes me feel good when I run it. It's calming, relaxing. You don't really got to worry about traditional enemies. Can't really die in the game. It's just kind of a completion. Oop. So, these sandstorms and a lot of other things in this game are actually based on cycles. And there's some debate to say when they happen and what triggers them, but people like to think that they're global. Now, if I go outside, I get blown back. There is some tech out there that kind of lets you get past this stuff. I haven't fully mastered it yet, but you can't really lose time in this section. Because if you are a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, you just gotta wait until the next sandstorm. So we kind of get bottleneck at these points.
So aside from a cutscene, this is more or less an auto-scroller section?
More or less. It's very much an auto-scroller once we get to Rock Taxi. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant rock that transfers us to another place. Like, I really want to just reach that ledge, because that's a slide that takes us to the next area. But can't do it. Now, I will try to actually push one of the cycles to a limit here and try to get slightly ahead just for posterity. It doesn't really accomplish anything. Oop. Not really a time loss or anything. I just like falling through the rock for whatever reason. So instead of waiting up in the building up there, I just waited at the bottom so I can get down into this cave and find our next star hiding down here. And I'm going to use the sandstorm to my advantage. Push me back towards the temple up there, the ruins or whatever you want to call them. And here is where my movement has to be very good, because I'm trying to get ahead slightly. And if I screw it up, I actually will lose a cycle. I'm okay. If I was a little bit behind, I'd get blown completely off the rock platform and would have to climb up and wait another cycle. But this just gets me ahead a little bit. And make my way to Rock Taxi with more time to spare. And here's Rock Taxi. I'm just going to get myself in position for when he's done. And we just kind of meander across the desert on a little creepy spider thing. Okay. It's possible to leave Sandstorms a little bit early from shelter, but if you time it wrong, you get lost in that rolling animation. Now, what you saw down there in that cave was a memory. We are not going for memories in this game. That would be part of the all memories or the completion. All achievements, all memories category. I just run the any percent because it's fun and it's not too overwhelming. So this little temple here is going to give us our first real ability. And I'm kind of curious to see what key it's going to bind it to, because I actually don't know. This is going to give us our ability called Heavy. Lets us turn into a stone block. Lets us walk a little bit when we're this increased weight. And lets us do some other interesting things through the game. So what key? X. Alright. That's not bad.
So since this is any percent no out of bounds, how much would the run be cut short if you were going out of bounds?
Well, right now there's only one significant area that goes out of bounds. So at the moment, the difference between any percent and any percent out of bounds and no out of bounds is only about, a minute or two. I am by far not the best runner in this category or this game. If you want to see some of the people who have absolutely optimized this game in every sense of the word, go to the Discord. I missed it. So this is one of the uses for Heavy. You get to break some blocks. But go to our Discord, check out a couple of the people there and some of the videos that they run. They're in the low 120s. My PB is about a 130. So somehow they managed to get nearly 10 minutes of time on me. So what we did here is we just kind of pounded the ground a little bit and release these little shadow birds. And these shadow birds are actually going to help us get out of the hole here and take us to the carnival in a way. So we get to go on all this scaffolding and make our way to the Ferris Wheel. And sliding. Yeah, so this game really just comes down to optimizing your movement, trying to find the best path possible, and utilizing whatever tricks you can to just gain. And, alright, I can't do that. Sorry, I distracted myself there. It is possible to reach that first blade that's already up if you do the climb cleanly. As you see, I did not. That is actually one of the tricks I have not been able to accomplish yet in this game. One day. Actually, during practice, I was very, very close to it. I only missed it by, just a hair. So, like all things, keep practicing, and you'll get better at it.
We have time for a quick donation.
Oh, sure thing.
We have a $100 donation from Spiffy Winkle. No comment, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Spiffy Winkle. It's not a name I'm familiar with, but we appreciate your donation. So now we're in kind of this temple area, and there's a little RNG. That guy I just hopped up on, he can be in a number of different locations. Up. So there I actually hit the wrong button because I forgot what key it was bound to. So we got to go left here because we only have 2 stars, and we're looking for a third one so we can go to the right. So let me see if I can get a couple of these tricks. Oh wait, wrong section. Getting ahead of myself. Gotta utilize our Heavy there. Bend this platform so we can reach our star. And I've actually missed that jump before, and it's very embarrassing. Because you gotta make that climb all over again. See, I'm slightly off on cycles right now with the way those platforms move up and down. So I had to wait. Now hopefully I can make up probably about 5 seconds or so here somewhere, and that'll allow me to get back on cycle. But, you know, it's not huge. That's just the optimization that some people have that I'm working on. Now there's a little trick here that I can save the animation, which I did not get. And I did not get again. If you hit the right spot with that, you can actually skip the heavy animation and go directly into your brick state and break that block. It's just a nice little trick, saves a little bit of time, and it looks really nice. Okay, so this one, where the first one we had to drop down 2 of those, or one of those, this one we had to do 2. So you had to hit in the middle. Come on. Alright. I'm going to do the same thing, go left, go right, and then I'll be able to go up here. So I recently... Oh, I missed it. There we go. I just recently learned you can go down there instead of climbing up and then working your way down. So basically I have to try to race that balloon as it goes up. And if I am good on timing here, I gotta do a small skip. And I think I'll be alright. Yep, got it. If I wasn't able to beat that there, I would have to go heavy on the rock up there to pull the balloon back down to get to that star. But because I beat it, I was able to just ignore that part. Anytime I can ignore being heavy is going to save me time. Just that transition to the animation is very slow. I will, however, utilize that animation if I have to fall more than, I think it's 6 or 8 seconds. And this is another bit of RNG that can be painful. You have to wait for that guy to path to a place where you can hit him. Sometimes he likes to cooperate, other times he does not. I've had him just kind of stand off to one side for a while. But he finds himself a new home, lifts up, and we can get our next star here. Okay. Work our way back, and then we'll be able to climb up and find our way to the carousel. There we go. So where the first platform we had drop down just one platform. We could just do it from standing there. The other one we had to drop 2 platforms, and we had to stand in the middle. We have to drop down that platform too to engage it, but we need a little height first. So a little climb up here on the carousel. And a little bit more height here on the carousel. Oh. And there we go. And somehow the carousel turning either lifts the world up or it drops down this little bit of world coming down right now. So an interesting thing about this game is the animations in it, I believe, were hand-drawn. Which is one of the reasons that you get this very unique style to it. Alright. So, we're back to the crumbling statue here. And I almost fell, but it's okay. And back to the hand. Another cutscene, and we get to introduce green into the world.
Well, while green is coming back into play, we have a $25 donation from Spectre. One small step closer to enemy randomization. Smiley face.
Thank you, Spectre. So the world we're starting to come into is one of my favorites. The green world, the forest, is just such an interesting area. There's a lot of nice movement to it, and interesting mechanics introduced. We also get a new best friend. And who doesn't love making a new friend? But first, we're going to head back to the hub world. And I'm going to break this vase, because I can. And because it'll come and play later. Drop off these couple of stars. And watch our bridge get a little bit longer. So I mentioned the cycles. You're going to see a lot of the cycles really coming into play in this section, which if you can hit them, everything goes smooth. But some of the cycles for the trees that we're going to see can just drive you crazy. If you miss it once, it puts you off cycle for so much more, not only in this section, but also later on in the game. So I'm going to do my best to not get ahead of myself while the little black birds there ruin our bridge. So anytime in the game you fall more than 6 seconds, traveling as a block is faster, because you fall faster as a block than in any other form. And we get to be in the forest now. A little beautiful scenery, a couple of pretty animals, nice environment, good ambiance, little radishes that are poking out of the ground. You know, it's just a happy little time. Alright, so shortly here, you actually get to see our newest friend. So remember those cycles? Here's where the first one can really screw you up. And it screwed me up. I was not able to hit that one as I should have. Now I'm not going to rush it, because when I start rushing things, it's just going to throw everything off worse. But ideally I should have been able to just clip that tree and make that cycle. But enough of that. Here's our friend, little Boxy. And he's sad. And nobody likes seeing somebody that sad. But apparently we're scary, so he runs away from us. And like any caring person, you chase after him in the woods. Right? That's what good friends do. So you'll see him here in the foreground, kind of trying to keep away from us. But, you know, it's kind of sad. He's staying away, and I think he'd be a nice person to know. So, we're going to try to get him on our side. And what better way to bribe people than with food? Because, you know, food's one of those things that makes everyone happy. So we just got to get past a couple of these cycles. Now, we don't have to go up there. Up there is just another constellation or memory, whichever you want to call them. And we're not interested in those. There. Knock an apple down. It looks like Boxy really enjoys apples. And he's interested enough now to follow us. But right now, I'm still scary enough that if I turned around, he would hide. So I'm going to try to get him some more apples, and maybe he'll be my friend. You know, that's how I make friends in real life. I run away from him, then throw apples at him. So I'm going to climb up here and try to get him some more treats.
You're certainly ensuring he has his fiber intake for the day.
Right? No doctors here. I gotta kind of wait for him to come here, and if I'm lucky, I can hit this quickly. And I did. I started the cutscene when he was still eating the apple, which saves a little bit of time. So now he's our buddy, and he's gonna help us out. So now we get to follow him, and he takes us to the magical underworld. So we're gonna fall down this pit down here. And it looks like when we jump, little Boxy jumps. So we can help him climb up these roots. And he's gonna follow us up. And now he's gonna open these roots up for us, so we can progress. And we're gonna have fun with them. We're gonna get a little frolic through the woods, and I'm gonna hop around, he's gonna hop around, and it's just gonna be a fun time. As Bob Ross said, making friends is fun. Everyone needs a little friend. And we're going to utilize our block here to allow Boxy to follow us. And he's going to disappear. But somehow he found his way up top. Now he's going to help us by breaking that one, because we make a good team. So we're going to continue on our adventure. And there is an apple there, but he's full. He doesn't need any more. But he can help us out by getting in there. And I'm graceful. As you can see, Boxy is not. And he just kind of tumbles down, and he's all right. So we're going to make our way up the hill here, and he's going to catch up with us. And that was enough adventure for him. So off he goes. And we're going to continue without him. He was a good friend. Maybe someday we'll see him again. So right now we're looking for our next ability. And to get our next ability, we have to come back here with 2 stars. And that will give us our Lightness ability, which introduces a glide ability and a double jump to the game. But right now, don't have it. So we go back to the underworld, climb up some roots, and see some of Boxy's friends. You have like the bell and a cup, and I don't know what that is.
A beehive, perhaps?
Maybe. A little broken beehive, a vase.
An urn?
An urn.
Perhaps a decanter or 2?
Ooh, good word. And then we see Boxy again. And he's nice enough to give us a gift. Gives us our first star.
Would you say that Boxy was our weighted companion cube?
You could.
I can't take credit for that one. That was Enchantress of numbers.
Oh, thanks, Eon. You know, so many jokes that we miss out on. He was our little box friend. If he was our little, like, triangular friend or, I don't know, a cone friend, we could say he was a cute friend. Why do I do these things?
Because it's your run and you can do what you want.
That's right. So now we get to the second part of this world. And you can see these trees are shifting between kind of an on state and an off state. And it's attached to our jumps. So as we jump, they switch from one to another. Which, it's really easy to forget that and want to jump, and you fall right through the trees. There we go.
I feel like you've started a pun trend now.
Oh, please tell me them all. I love the puns.
Since he's a square, does that mean he was the right friend for us?
Oh, yeah. In my opinion, pun is the highest form of humor. It is single-handedly the best thing. Alright, so we add our 2 stars here, and we're going to get a new ability called Lightness. And I'm assuming it's going to be bound to B.
I remain pun convinced.
No. Oh. So stair climbs become a little bit more difficult with this because you can't really spam as much as you once did. But, oh, I'm off cycle. Oh, nope, I caught up. I'm actually very surprised that happened. But, I'm happy. Because it makes it look like I know what I'm doing. Long jump here. I almost thought I missed that. Now, these little red birds you see here, if we jump when we're on them, it'll kind of rocket us into the air. And here's one of those cycles that I'm off on. Originally, you should be able... Oh, I missed it. You should be able to just jump straight out there and catch one of these. There we go. But, you know, being a little behind's not bad. Whoop. I almost did it. Now that's the easy one to follow. The one upstairs is off cycle, meaning it's not consistent. Nope, not gonna make it. Okay. I tried to push that one for everyone's entertainment, and I just happen to make it. So, like I said, my movement in this game is still kind of sloppy. But when I get it right, or when you see somebody who really knows what they're doing, the movement in this game is so slick. Especially when you get all of the abilities added to it later on. The transitions people can make are just so much fun. So we're just trying to make our way back to the hub world here, and seeing some of this beautiful architecture. And we can see some of these little blackbird butterflies again, and realize they're not. They are a burb. So now we have a burb friend. Or not. So for some reason, burb doesn't like us, and whenever we get close to him, he yells at us. Okay. I was worried about hitting that cycle. He acts very much like the Sandstorms, that if you screw up the cycle, he will blow you back, throw you in a ball, and you'll get stuck in an animation until he's done yelling at you. So hopefully I'm gonna avoid that. And try to make my way upstairs here. Now, one thing you can do in this gliding animation is you can actually cancel your glide to fall faster. If you notice my cape behind me, that's me falling slow. So whenever I want to fall as fast as possible by jumping again and getting through that double jump animation. Now, there's also some really, really interesting tech people can do and some fun strats with the bird that I don't understand. So I'm going to play it safe and use old strats because I have not mastered these quick bird strats.
Could you have made it across in one yell there?
Apparently you can, and that's the strat that I don't quite understand, or I haven't been able to make work for myself yet. So I take it in two just to be safe. But right now we're flying away, and for whatever reason, Burb's going to join us. Until he's not going to join us. Yeah. Honestly, stairs are very much the enemy in this game for me. Okay. Alright, so it's actually very difficult to break that vase and get these birds in one go. Usually you have to run back over after you get thrown away and do that, so that's just a slight optimization. Right. So the bell kind of scares away the bird and lets us escape. And we're going to finish our climb back up the same staircase. It's a long trip. And another cutscene. And we get to reintroduce a new color into the world. So we got red, we got green, now we get blue. It's what I imagine when I think of like watercolors being added to like a glass of water or a water painting or something.
I could never make anything pretty like that. It always turned into a brown mess for me.
Right? Well, hey, that's why we have video games, so we can play something pretty. So we're going to use these birds and make our way down. Oop. So, statue's all broken up still, so we're going to slide down the hair here into this lovely rainstorm and make our way back to the hub world. Now, a very subtle thing just happened there. If you just fall straight down from that tower without doing anything, you'll actually go very deep into the water. So if you time a jump, your double jump and glide very carefully, you can actually stop that and gain control of your character a little bit faster than usual. Right now, water is kind of our biggest obstacle. Woohoo! Did that one. So anytime I can skip trees or anything like that is just a good time for me. Anything that has a cycle on it, it's just annoying after a while. And again, we have a memory up there that we're not going to collect. Just going to leave it for later. If you are interested, though, pick up the game, play it, find all the memories, and you can actually see a secret ending to the game. One final cutscene that kind of really explains what's going on with the game. And I only just kind of picked up that lore recently. Ooh, too far. So, the next thing we're going to work on is trying to figure out how to swim. Because this getting around is very annoying. So we're going to take a couple of easy trips here with the use of these birds and our glide to save a little bit of time. And then swim a little bit back to the original staircase. Okay. Alright, back to a cutscene. We drop off our next couple of stars, and we get to go to the underground world and make our way to dive. Our ability to swim underwater. So we go back this way, like we're going back to the Carousel world, and we go left to Sea World, or Turtle World. Ugh. So that's one of the drops into the water where you go kind of deep. You want to avoid that at all costs, which I did not.
We have time for a quick announcement?
Absolutely.
Well, right now you're watching Bernie perform his 80% no out of bounds run for GRIS. Right now, as a whole, you are watching Super Stigma Slam 2019, a 3-day charity streaming marathon benefiting Take This. Established in 2013, Take This is a non-profit organization dedicated to providing information about mental health issues, education about mental disorders and mental illness prevention, and reducing the stigma of mental illness.
Very good. So we get to utilize our heavy here to do a couple of tricks. You saw the first one there, kind of break the block to get into the world. And then the second one was to kind of weigh down that elevator so we could go further. We now have to try to get underwater, which means getting through some of these water puddles. All right. Nope, missed the jump by a little bit. You can actually make that jump from the ledge to that platform. It's a minor time save, but it's still nice. Later on, there's a jump that is frustratingly close. I've never heard anybody get it, and I really want to find out how to do it. Oop. All right. So a little skip here by gliding up and skipping some of these smaller mushrooms, which our glide lets us do. Because, you know, mushrooms are good. Now I want to try to get as far right on this block as possible to get the fast elevator skip. Basically, it's just walk from one to another as it's transitioning. And we're going to continue going down, down, down.
No rings of fire here, however.
No Johnny Cash. Okay. Pop this vase. Jump on over. And take a dip through so we can get under this water, under this little lip, and slowly swim. And we're going to come back here. Now this is the jump that is frustratingly close every time. Despite everything I've tried, I've never been able to get that in one shot. So what you're seeing is kind of like a crystalline light. And we can use that to our advantage by turning into a block, getting frozen, and then using our self to get up top. Now, this is where the out-of-bounds category differs from this category. Somebody found that if you actually turn into a crystal block close to but not completely against a wall, and then you stand behind it and do a little shimmying, you can actually clip into the world. We're not going to do that. But that's where it goes. Oh, I messed up. So it is possible to essentially one-cycle this, in which you come down here, turn into a block, jump up here, open up the valve, get the star, and get out of here. But my cycles are slightly off right now, so not a big surprise. There's other minor things I'll be able to fix later on. Hopefully make up some of that time. Okay. We turn in our stars here. Get access to dive. And now we get to swim fast. And we go from this beautiful upper world that we've been seeing to this like beautiful aquarium-like world that we're seeing now. And we're going to try to chase down this star here as it leads us to where we need to go. And switching into a block there just saves us some time on the fall. So we need enough stars to activate that shell there. So I'm of course going to go to the most difficult one first. If I can do this, it's known as Tower Glide, or Tower Skip, whatever you want to call it, and I did okay with it. Ideally, or actually the intended strat there is to go, across, back and forth. Oh, that's interesting, I never did that before. Go back and forth between those instead of, you know, out and then immediately back in. Then we make our way to the next one, which we're going to come down here, get these birds, jump up here, swim back through, and get a next star. Okay, we got the two left ones. We're now gonna swim across, and I'm actually gonna go to this one instead of swimming up. And this one is going to be a quick maze. So everything you see here up on top is going to be mirrored underneath this in the water below. You just got to find your way through it real quick, and you get the next one. Simply as just swim across and around, and then you're done. Swim up to our last one, and this one can actually get kind of frustrating because you feel you should get it more often than not. So we're going to chase this star up here, and we have to chase him down. If we don't, that jellyfish will then swim back up to the top, and you have to chase him. Okay, I got it. So what I did there is, you have to drop off the stars, but if you stay, you get stuck in the cutscene up there. By doing that quick clip, I'm able to push the turtle a little bit further south to start this sequence. Now, he's enough light for us to get through that little barricade there, and now we're kind of in a dark world. Or darker. Alright. I missed turning into a block, which I'm going to lose a little bit of time on. But as soon as you come out of the water, you have to turn into a block, and it saves a little bit of time. Otherwise, you get stuck in that cutscene. Okay. Make our way back into the statue. Swim up the hand. And we get to release our next color. So this time we're going to release yellow into the world. And also, if you've noticed, every time we've revisited the statue, it becomes more and more whole. So this time we actually get a statue with a face, and it opened its eyes.
So since we've been making so many different animal friends, box friends, etc., If the Save the Animals crew wants to win this bid war, Saving the Frames has a commanding lead at $1,690 versus Saving the Animals at $875.
Oh, come on, everybody.
We gotta get on this.
This is about compassion. We're supposed to be out there loving people, and we're going to let the animals die? Come on. You got to give them some love. I put my donations there already. Hopefully you guys will do the same. So immediately as you gain control of the character, I'm going to try to sing again. And I don't know how to sing yet, and it turns this cutscene on, which wrecks our world again. So it's a nice little metaphor for life. You know, once you start building yourself back up, things can come crumbling back down again. But I think it's important to focus on what we need to now, namely saving the animals. And you'll see why saving the animals is so important. Because without those friends, we could not do what we're going to do. Now, this is actually an auto-scroller right here. If I put down the controller, everything would be fine. It was found, though, that if you spam your swim button, you actually take time off the auto-scroller. Only like increments of like 1/10 of a second, but it does add up. And I've already kind of screwed up, because every time the eel gnashes its teeth like that, if we're too close to its mouth, we'll do a rolling animation forward, which loses us about, I think, a ½ second. It's actually an achievement to not have that happen at all.
Would that path either up or down have mattered? Which choice you make?
No, up and down there doesn't matter. You're essentially locked into a rail. And we just got our control back to the character. No more eels. And we kind of work our way through this little underwater maze. Now, there's a couple of the runners out there who have this absolutely and completely memorized. And I swear they could do this blind. I'm not one of them. So the slight bonks that I get, they lose a little bit of time, but I'm still decent on it. But we're going to make our escape here and swim back down, and everything will be fine. Oh, fooled you. So we got the persistent eel, and we got to escape him. Now, if I don't mash hard enough, I lose. So I'll actually start mashing again. And we're going to enjoy this intense music. Oh, persistent eel. Uh-oh. And that's why you save the animals. Because one day, they're going to save you too. And our turtle buddy goes to sleep. And now we're free to continue on. Okay, I made that one. I get all my stars back. And I'm gonna make my way back up to the hub world. So you notice this is actually where we got the dive ability, just below us. But since we unlock the yellow color, we have this new architecture here. So that's pretty much how the game progresses. Opening up colors opens up new areas by creating new parts of the map, even if they were already still there. Oh. There we go. So that was an example of canceling my glide, so I could drop down on the light tree a little bit faster. Nope, missed. There we go. And I was a little daring there. Making that jump can actually be kind of difficult. And I'm going to do a little skip here. You're intended to go through a little area up there. But if you know what you're doing, you can just do an early ground pound and get out of the area quicker. So we're going to climb up the trees of water here. And this is going to bring us back to the hub world. So you're intended to come straight up and land on the platform there. But if your timing is good, you're able to eject from the water and land further to the right, which is where we need to be, while still triggering this animation. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the final area of the game, which is kind of this temple world. And remember the birds that I opened up by smashing a jar at the very beginning of the game? That was them right there. So that's why it came in handy. So we kind of go up these ethereal steps. And we're going to get a couple new dynamics to the game. These are little fireflies that once we get close to them, will follow us and also kind of reveal to us the map. One of the problems with them are, if we ground pound, they go away. There we go. But here's where we start to get to put all the movement tech together, utilizing jumping out of the water, the swim speed, the double jumps. When done well, it looks really good. Now these birds, kind of like the red ones, allow us to jump, but they also release a burst of light that lets us see where we're going. Now that stuff over there I don't need to do. It's related to another collectible, which we're not concerned about. So we're going to continue this way and start getting into Upside Down World. Yep. So my time, my cooldown was still up. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. My cooldown was still going for the swim, which made me kind of short that jump there. So, reveal some of the map. And again, we're going to utilize these birds, and we got to get it on top of this building. But to do that, we need to come all the way over here. Break this vase. Make our way back over. Get a new bird. So we see what we're doing.
Do those ledges just straight up not exist without the light?
Yep. So without the light, it doesn't matter if we try to memorize where we were, it wouldn't exist. Alright. Here's where we're going to get our last ability. So we get Sing. So we make our way through here first, left and right. Find 2 more stars, and once we get Sing, we have to go back through this area 2 more times, but because we have a new ability, new things open up. Okay. And this is where we introduce the idea of everything's upside down. So, Mario copied off of us. Oop. Okay. Now, this can get a little hairy sometimes, because jump doesn't always respond as quickly as you would hope, and it really throws off the movement sometimes. So now, we're going to race a little bit, and you can see there was a platform that was up there. Alright. The intended strat there is to go all the way to that tree, come back over the line, but we don't like doing that. So we're going to save time by doing this, fall into the water, and try to throw ourselves out. And the second side. Okay. And same thing as the other side. We gotta utilize this upside down world to make our way to the next star. Parts of this are very memorization heavy, where you just have to remember where you're at, so you know where you're going. Oop. Oh, that was bad. Okay. So we have our 2 stars. We come back to the hub, and we're going to get our final ability. Now you get to enjoy GRIS's beautiful voice and see what it does to the world. Now with that, we get to basically turn on certain objects. Now, I always go left first because, honestly, I'm scared of going right because there's a trick there I still have not gotten. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a go. Because, you know, why not? Open up the flower. Kind of floods the area we were just in. And we get to go for 2 stars on this side, and then another 2 on the other side. Whew. Okay, I almost didn't make that. Not sure why, but... Okay, another pair of... gold birds. Let us see where we're going. And this is actually a race before this platforming area disappears. Sometimes my movement has been bad enough where I've missed this. So we are coming into the home stretch here. Alright, so there's a strategy here called flower skip. It's too far. Okay. Now the idea is you're supposed to go top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. But we don't like going the way we're supposed to. So we're going to skip that entire top area and make our way down here. And at the end of the world, we have this last one. And back to the hub world. So for this section, the reason I save it for last is a little section called Bug Skip. Bug Skip is a very, very tight window that I struggle to get. The good news is I can attempt it twice without losing any kind of time. Now right here, we get a little, I don't know, it's not a spider, maybe a water strider or something, that we just kind of activate, and he'll follow us left and right. We have some more of those flowers that we have to activate. So we're going to sing as we're being brought over. And hope not to screw anything up there. Okay. I'm actually surprised. Most of this has gone fairly smooth. Oop, now. As soon as I say anything. There we go. When I first did this, the whole upside down thing messed with me so hard. Even in Mario Maker, that's a big thing right now. That messes with me too. Upside down levels should not be a thing. Okay, the moment I've been dreading. Nope, I need to be here. And, okay, I got that part. Oh, I didn't get it. Alright, so first attempt, it was a failure. I can activate this one. And of course he took off without me. So I have to go back to the original bug first, which gives me one more attempt at the skip. No. That's what I mean. The jumping is a bit finicky in this game. It's not as responsive as it should be. But I gave it a try. One of these days I'll get it. And back to the end of the world. And drop back down, swim across, and we'll be home free. Climb up top here, break that for later, sing into a cutscene, and grow this tree. And we gotta begin our ascent. All our hard work comes to fruition. So, upside down world here, we gotta write it and fix it. And with that, we should have completed all our stars. And we'll be able to try to escape the world. So you'll see the last little flower on the bottom of the screen there on the right. We just got to go down there, sing to it, jump up. And our bridge looks complete. I did it again. Oh no. There we go. For whatever reason, that spot is my bane. I'll either bonk my head there, or I won't be able to climb it properly. Well, it's only a minor time loss. It's a nuisance nonetheless. So is it going to be Burb? Is it going to be Eel? Oh no! It's actually us. The true enemy was ourselves. And there we go. All our hard work, and we're back to square one. Well, it was fun, everyone. I hope everyone appreciated that. Oh, wait! There's more. So, while we don't have the ability to swim anymore, we can still slowly glide to the surface. And you notice that we're surrounded by all this rubble. We got a finger. Maybe a knee. Bit of face. Everything we worked to put back together is gone. So the ascension level in this, the speed, is fixed. Even if you go back and forth and play around with it, doesn't matter. We're back to kind of you're on the rails on a auto-scroller. Now we have access again, and we kind of see what the damage is. And we got a broken foot here. Bit of platform. A nose. And we have this. Now hopefully our song can bring everything back together. And yet again, we're in a cutscene. So the game loves its cutscenes. But now we just kind of get to sit back and enjoy these as they play out. And now the statue sings back to us, and it looks like everything's right in the world. So the music here is just so nice. I'm not going to talk over it. So, the game will end when I lose control of the character at the end of the climb and the screen goes black. So the hidden content I talked about kind of reveals what actually is going on. And I thought originally the statue was just part of GRIS. That was just, part of her adulthood, her self, any of that stuff. But if you 100% the game and you find the secret area, you see that the statue is actually Gris's mother. And the song that's being sung is the song that her mother taught Gris. So I find this to just be a really interesting revisit of their childhood and things like that coming together. And let's see. I have lost control of the character and time.
1:30:37.
That might actually be a PB for me. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is. I think a 1:30:59 was my previous PB.
Well, there you go. A PB at a marathon event. Congratulations.
That's fantastic. So I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to be out here. Also, everyone who's donating to the charity. It's a fantastic thing. Even if you're out there and you can't donate to the charity, do something nice for the people who help you out. Reach out. See how they're doing. Just a kind word goes a long way. So hopefully you keep that in mind, and hopefully we'll raise some money for raising awareness for these causes. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a good time and enjoy the rest of the stream. Enjoy.
All right, thank you, Bernie. That was GRIS, any % no out of bounds. We only have PC games remaining tonight, so the setup will come fast and furious as we try to do our best to kind of get back on track here. But next up will be a Gray's Counter, an arcade pacifist run by Beauty Joe. We'll be back in a couple minutes.